And we're live.
Good
Hold on
evening, everyone. We are live. We are coming from different parts of this world, Kevin and I. But it's good to see everyone for our weekly Facebook Live every Wednesday night at 9. We love to talk travel and just get those good feelings going again, the way we feel when we're out on the road or in a new country, or a new state, or a new town, how we feel, how we felt, and just keep that all going until we can actually do it again. Is my husband around? Hello, hello. Am I doing this solo? I feel like I'm Tennille without my captain. There he is.
We're here. We had a little snafu seconds before we were supposed to go live, so we're still trying to sort that out. But we're here, and we might have a minor audio issue, a little stuff with Sam's microphone, but I think it's okay. Let's just hope it
It's
goes
live.
away.
It's live Facebook. I mean, we can't have high hopes, guys. But I mean,
We
even
trained for
like the,
this.
the we but even like the Emmys and the Grammys, like, come on, we're two people. Um, Kevin is in upstate New York right now. I'm in Brooklyn, and I feel kind of like this is like Green Acres, which might be way before your time, Kevin. It was with Ava Gabor, and there was a theme song, Green Acres is the place to be. And then Ava Gabor would say, New York is where I'd rather stay. So you're like the country guy, and I'm the city girl. Bad news, Kevin, I was not able to put the kids to bed before this started. So they're right over there. Ellis is playing with his clay. Elizabeth's um, reading Dostoevsky, I believe.
In
We have a
Russian, right?
second grader. Yeah, we have a second grader who has like a 12th grade reading level. She's phenomenal. Um, but yeah, so here we are. I know we put out an alert on Facebook today that we were doing this. I'm just gonna go there right now because there were a lot of great questions, a lot of love for Montreal, which is the episode we will be showing along and commenting on tonight. Montreal is a fantastic place, and I would say what I love most about it. Okay, maybe not most. That's exaggerating. But what I love about Montreal is I grew up in New Hampshire, and so we went there as a family, and they had the best malls. I was 14, so that was my expectation, and they were underground. They were underground malls because it's cold in Canada, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. But what's really cool about Montreal is it really does give you that European feel. It just satisfies that urge. And when we can travel again, and maybe Europe might be too, or maybe prohibitively expensive for some, Montreal is a phenomenal, as well as Quebec, which we also did for season 4. Great alternatives, and they're so good. Montreal is so good at giving you the feeling that you have gone to Europe, that every time I go there, I still have jet lag, even though it's only a 2 hour flight from New York City where I live and there's no time change. I literally feel jet lag. And I don't know if it's like the smell of cigarette smoke mixed with caffeine, like strong coffee, that just puts me right there. But as soon as I arrive after a 2 hour flight in Montreal, I just want to take a nap. So it's like, wow, this really satisfies the European urge. But it's such an alive, electric city. It's an exciting city, phenomenally diverse. That's one of its huge pluses. It has been a very diverse city for a long time, and of course, really quite old. Was it like 352 years now old? So just we loved being there and shooting there, and the people who we met and you were about to see again. Oh, incredible! But we'll get to that soon. We've got some a little business to take care of. Should Kevin, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. This is
So,
so. Is
Samantha,
this going to
I feel like I should ask a
happen?
hard-hitting question. So, when you were in Montreal, what did you feel about the social and environment and economic, yeah, anyway. Are
Just
we
so
talking
is
about
that going to happen
cocktails?
every? Is that yeah? Please talk about your cocktail, please.
So I am drinking the Montreal tonight, and
Mm-hmm.
I always search around for kind of fun cocktail ideas for every show we do. And the fun thing about this is that actually this summer actually the month we were there filming, which is July 2017, was their 350th anniversary of Montreal, and um, the city of Montreal. I don't know how this got organized, but they took the top 15 bartenders and got them in a room, and they came out of the room like voting for the Pope with a recipe of the official City of Montreal cocktail, which is in the Facebook post if you look in it, and it's a nice. One of the fun things about it, it has London dry gin in homage to the English kind of heritage of Montreal, and then they have a very obscure French liqueur made out of gentian roots, which is kind of a grape root, kind of bitter herb liqueur from France, and also has Canadian rye whiskey. So it's it's kind of this nice homage of ingredients all together to make a pretty nice drinkable cocktail.
I love that. I'm drinking my typical Vermentino Italian wine because I cannot hold my liquor like my husband can. I just can't. I can't drink hard liquor anymore. And I have to get up early with the kids and, possibly teach second grade, or maybe not. I'm not sure. But
Oh, it's one of those days.
it's been fun. It's been so fun. I don't know if you can kind of see my background. I have a Le Creuset. Hey, it's a French theme, but I wanted to point out just how bad of a cook I am. I think I always joke about that. I hate to cook. It's just true. And travel has made me that way because I've been able to order things off menus and just even eat at casual diners. I just love when other people cook for me. And I'm such a bad cook that unbelievably I broke the lid of a Le Creuset. Oh my gosh, that never happens. Everyone I've told that to, they're like, oh no, I think they're like guaranteed for life. I think they send you a new one. I'm not sure. But I have to get in touch with them. But has anyone ever seen a cast iron pot split in half? It fell on the ground, and I can't believe it. It didn't break the floor or go through into our neighbor's apartment. So that was good.
No.
But yeah, I
That was
just
be
thought
my
that was a
question.
fun.
How's the floor?
The floor's fine. The floor's fine. I would need another foot, but what are you gonna do? Let's see what else. Oh, some great comments on Facebook. Andrea Ruth Cullen, she says, yes, underground shopping, New Year's Eve party. Yes, perfect. And then another, Randall Johnson, I have never seen a negative comment about this amazing city. It's true. I think everyone loves being there. They've loved their trip there. They want to go back. And wait till you see our episode because there's just so many great things to do there. It's a city you could easily spend a full entire week and not see it all. Regina Tomlinson, we visited Old Montreal a year ago. What a wonderful place, like being in Europe. I totally agree with you. It's just I guess it is the cigarette smoke, right? They might not like that.
Samantha, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have controls here, so I can pop up the questions. There's a great one.
Okay.
I thought I could. So here we go, and there it is.
Stacy Hawkins. Okay, I came in late. Why 2 locations? Well, mommy and daddy need to talk to you. Sorry.
Do you want to tell them why
2
I'm
locations?
here and you're there?
Yes, I do. It's actually really good news, Stacy. And you, our Facebook Live audience, is the first to hear this. We are trying hard to continue our show Places to Love, and we are starting to ramp up production. We started it back in last February with Old Quebec and Quebec City. And then, of course, the pandemic happened. And, of course, it's still happening. We're still in the midst of it. But through about 2 months of just talking with people, of experts, good friends, we realized we can do this, and we can do this perfectly safely. We'll have to approach things a little bit differently as we approach scenes and being with people, but we know we can do it. And of course, our first episode, we are going to be coming back to season 4 to explore, is the place that we were basically surviving and thriving in during the pandemic in upstate New York in Dutchess County. This is where Kevin is. This is where we've had our second home for 15 years, and we have never spent so much time there in our lives. In fact, because of that, and because we're always traveling, and because we have kids, so when we head up there, we just kind of stay there. We don't head out. We had no idea what an incredible incredible place Dutchess County is. It's phenomenally beautiful. It actually has a lot of English expats there because of the landscape. It's horse country, but the main city Poughkeepsie is, oh boy, so much great diversity. Great, there's a CIA, the Culinary Institute of the Arts, is in Hyde Park. FDR had his home there, and that's where his presidential library is. Eleanor Roosevelt's small cabin where she then lived after FDR's death is there. There's a lot of great history, and so we're just excited to showcase it. In a way, it's fun, and it's true. I realize that when, as a traveler, I rarely approach the place I live with in sort of a travel way. What you made this? Do you want to say hi? Say hi. There's Ellis.
Look at this tiny crab.
What did you make? Can you show? Oh, he likes to make sea creatures, and that's a crab?
I made it really tiny.
Oh, he made it tiny. Can I show it to him? Because I know where the camera is. Ellis is incredible with his clay figures, and this is a tiny red crab, and he likes to make anemones and sea urchins, and he's and he makes all kinds of sharks and bumblebees, and he loves his clay. Right, Ellis, you got that? Okay. I love you, kiddo. So we're just excited. So hopefully you are excited too. Again, we are doing this with the utmost safety in mind. We believe in science, and we believe with science we can make a strong go of it. We're only going to do maybe 3 episodes towards the end of the year, and then start up again in spring. But it's really my belief that we're going to be able to travel long before there's a vaccine. I think that for me, rapid testing is the key. And by the end of the year, there's going to be all sorts of, I think, quick, phenomenal rapid testing where we can just find out immediately. Right now, even United announced flights to Hawaii, and you take a rapid test before you get on the flight. And that's the kind of technology we need. That's the kind of just assurance we should have as people in this world to make sure that we can carry on with our lives. But again, I don't believe, I just think that the vaccine is still far off, and when we all get it, when we all become immune, and that's far off thinking. So personally, I think rapid testing is the way to go, and I think we're going to be able to do international travel early spring. That's what I'm hoping for. So I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to put it out there to the gods. Because I see, even though numbers are ticking up, I do see a lot of hope. I do. And so we just want to celebrate that with you. So hopefully just, send out the goodwill to us because we're excited. I mean, it's, Kevin called me today and said, oh my gosh, wait till you meet this man. He's amazing. And he did this, this, and this. And it felt good to be back talking with people again and supporting a travel industry that has been decimated by this. And people need our business safely, of course, and there is a way forward safely. So we are really excited to be out there supporting the travel community in the way we've always done in the past, telling their stories, connecting you with great people, great destinations, great experiences. It's what we do, and we have missed it dearly, and we're starting back. Danielle, sometimes it takes a pandemic to make you realize what you have in your own backyard. That is true. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
I'd say that we've always known we were going to do a show in Dutchess County. It was just a question of when. And we thought
that's true.
With everything going on, this would be a good time to do it. And it's funny. Originally, we were thinking we'd do the Hudson Valley, and we would do all the counties of the Hudson Valley. And then we realized that we have too much already just in Dutchess County alone. So
we have too much already just in Poughkeepsie. Yeah.
Yeah, the Catskills one day, or on the other side of the river, or there's just so much in this part of New York State that we can't wait to show you all.
And what's nice about Dutchess County is it's far enough away from New York City that it's not totally influenced by the city. And what I mean by that is, like, if you go to, there's some really amazing towns closer that actually are even in Dutchess County, but they're still of New York City. There's an art scene. And so we wanted to get further enough away from the city so that what we're doing is its own personality. It's born of its own history, really separate from New York City, which has such a pull, of course. And we're from New York City, so I'm not. Again, there's a lot of connection there. But the county itself and the artists we're meeting and the food we're tasting, it is Dutchess County. These are people who were born and raised there. So.
Yeah. Let me get back. So anyway, we're very excited. I'm excited. I had kind of half a day this afternoon to see a few things, and it's just like, every time you think you know a little bit, you start talking and you find out more and more and more, and it's going to be a great episode. Really looking forward to it.
It is Dutchess County. Oh God, I'm hearing myself. Oh gosh, Jim Hansen says Lake George and Saratoga. Yeah, that's a whole other episode. I've been there many times, and we're hoping, we're going to be shooting in Dutchess County in a few weeks, so we hope we're timing it perfectly with the fall foliage. We hope that, because it's going to be spectacular. But I think if you're not from New York, and what I love is that it's going to be people from California are going to be watching this, in Arizona and out west, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that happened there. It's really incredible, and it really ties into our whole mission of Places to Love. That's really about going to places you've never heard of that should be travel destinations in their own right, and it brings about different histories and different perspectives, and you don't have to spend a lot of money and go to these A-list destinations and spend a lot of money on hotels and rentals, and just there's a way to travel where it's totally accessible. And you're having a good time and really having life-changing experiences. Do we have that picture from Colleen Casey that I wanted to show, Kevin? So Colleen Casey, is she here? Have we seen her yet? I'm just looking. Okay. She should be here because she's here every weekend. Of course, Colleen has been here since the beginning, one of our top Facebook Live fans. And every week I watch, I think it's tomorrow at 12 p.m., Peter Greenberg does a Facebook Live, and his is excellent. And we're very different in terms of the travel world. Peter Greenberg is a hard-hitting news analyst, travel analyst, and but I love watching him for all of his hard-hitting, hey, if you didn't get this refund, you can go right after them, and they shouldn't be canceling, and you can get your cancellation feedback here. And he's kind of an ombudsman in that way. But Colleen, I'm watching Peter Greenberg, just having a nice Facebook Live with him, and all of a sudden I see Colleen there, and his video freezes, and she says, "Your video paused. You might want to ask Kevin O'Leary, Samantha Brown's brilliant husband, to help you fix your internet connection. He knows how to fix just about anything." So I thought that was a phenomenal shout out, Colleen. We appreciate it. Didn't expect it, but I was just sort of listening to him like, what? Oh my gosh, brilliant husband. And he is. Kevin can fix anything. So I'm proud of him. I married well. Steve Nick, is Mohawk Resort worth a visit? Oh my gosh, yes. So Mohawk Mountain Resort is, is it New Paltz, New York? That's not Dutchess County what we're talking about, but it is exceptionally beautiful. It's of another place. Just look it up right now. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be. Interesting note. I was there during 9/11, and when the planes went in the tower and the two towers, and I actually lived in Ground Zero at that time, and to see my neighborhood literally turn into a war zone was absolutely devastating. And we were at Mohawk Mountain House. We were shooting there, and there are no TVs in the rooms. And so you had to be in their common area with one TV. And all of the hotel guests gathered that morning and through the entire day and through the entire night. And we just all huddled around each other, taking in that news. And I always attribute that experience for making it somewhat palpable to take what was happening to our country at that moment. And that night, and this is another beautiful story about Mohawk Mountain House, why it's a beautiful place. It lives in my heart. Is that night I tried to go to sleep, and I was trying to sleep, and I hear this noise, and it's just persistent. And it's really loud, and I have no idea what this noise is, and I'm trying to sleep. And of course, I can't sleep because it's the night of 9/11. And finally I get up because I'm like, where is that noise coming from? And it's coming from outside. And I open it up, and most of the rooms have little balconies. So I opened this little door and went out to my little balcony, and I hear it, and it's now really loud, and I still have no idea what this noise is. I'm like, what is that? Where is it coming from? And I look up, and it's the American flag. And it's just whipping in the wind. And the American flag in all of its glory is just fully unfurled and just almost defiant in its strength. It is just this most beautiful thing I saw. And I looked up, and at that moment I was like, we're gonna, this is hard, but we're gonna be okay as a country. And so yeah, Mohawk Mountain House, special place, family owned for like over 100 years, and a beautiful place to be on one of the most difficult nights of our lives. And I believe that right now we're going through a tough time as a country, aren't we? And boy, we're made of tougher stock than it seems, and I think we're going to be okay. But I'll always remember that, seeing that flag and hearing it first. It woke me up. It kept me up, because it had something to say. So yeah, I think it's worth it. Absolutely. Don't go on holidays, because it's crazy busy. All the New Yorkers are there. I just want to tell you, I love New Yorkers. I am one of them. You don't want to be there with a bunch of New Yorkers. So try to, like, I don't know, go during the week on like a non-holiday, make it right, Kevin. Have I ever taken you? Have you ever been to Mohawk Mountain House?
No.
Oh, sorry.
One day.
One day. Lots to do. Okay, so shall we?
You know
what?
to do first.
Yep, and then we'll start. We should get going. But FDR's and Eleanor Roosevelt's homes are both closed to visitors due to COVID. Will you be able to inside? Yes, they are. Yes, we will be able to. Actually, FDR's home is closed because of renovations. They're renovating it. So we weren't going to go there anyway, but Eleanor Roosevelt's home, the outdoors are open. And so hopefully, so you can walk around the grounds. You can't go inside, but Kevin,
I might
what are you
have
telling
been
me?
there today inside.
Do you feel the aura of Eleanor Roosevelt? Oh my gosh.
Pretty awesome.
Oh, yes. And the woman we have is pretty amazing, who's going to be telling us about her. So really excited, because we all love Eleanor. Anyway, so housekeeping. Oh my gosh. So you're here with me now, Facebook Live, but we could be really live together. And boy, let me tell you, I'm fun to be around. Right, Kevin?
Yeah.
No, but we have two great trips to be talking about, to be getting excited for. I have one in July 29th to be exact, my Alma Waterways Bordeaux 2021 trip. This was for 2020, but of course postponed. And so I love that. It was not canceled. It was just postponed, and we're going to have fun then. And what I love about this trip in particular, because I've taken 3 cruises along with Alma Waterways, fantastic river company, just the best, is that this is the first time I will not actually be shooting on board. So that means I can have a lot of fun. I don't have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm really excited about this. But what I'm really excited about is just watching the beauty of Bordeaux go by. Being on a river cruise, you really slow down to the pace of the river and just take it in, and boy, don't we need that, just to kind of be just all absorbed by the beautiful, lovely landscape, drinking wine, eating wonderful food, and just being with people. And great conversation. Can't wait. Please join me. And then our other wonderful trip is actually closer, the Rocky Mountaineer. You can join me on May 29th through June 5th. Now it's about an 8-day. Is that 8 days?
I think it's kind of, there's a few options, 7 to 9 or something like that.
Oh, 7 to 9. I'll be on there specifically for a 2-day portion of it, because you actually take the train and you go to places like Banff and Lake Louise. I mean, just these beautiful mountaintop destinations with chateau-like, castle-like hotels, and you actually stay in those hotels, and then you get back on the train, and the train has these the sort of the glass roof, so you're just taking in the Rockies and this majestic landscape. And one thing about me is I love seeing the great outdoors and being totally inspired by Rocky Mountains and waterfalls, and knowing that I don't have to sleep overnight in it. I need a bed. I need nice sheets. I need a hot shower. I need a toilet. And so people who love to camp, God love you. I'll be staying at the Fairmont. But so please join me with the Rocky Mountaineer. I know this is already getting a lot of great response. And hey, listen, this year and next year for season 3, we are sponsored by AAA, and I've got my little AAA card here. I'm a member, and if you are a member, did you know that it's not just about road service, that you actually get access to wonderful travel advisors? And everyone right now is asking me about, well, how are we certain that we can plan trips and make sure that they go okay? And with all the changing rules and regulations and restrictions, it's really easy. You need a travel advisor, and because they'll handle all that for you. So if you have never used a travel advisor, let me tell you, this is the time. This is absolutely the time. They just take all of that pressure off you. Let them do the thinking. Let them do the changing if there needs to be, and just get ready to look forward to go on to a trip. But if you book this through AAA, and you can do that, see that website right there, samb.tv/AAA, you'll go right to the page with both these trips, both the Rocky Mountaineer as well as On the Waterways, and you can book right there, and you're booking through AAA, and you're getting their Gold Leaf service with the Rocky Mountaineer. And actually, I believe, Kevin, that Rocky Mountaineer trip is exclusively with AAA, correct? So
it is, yeah.
that's not offered.
The only way you can book that is with your AAA advisor. And if you go to that link, there's easy access to find if you don't currently have an advisor with AAA, to find the one nearest to you. But again, yeah, they have done a lot of training internally about how to train their advisors to help people travel more safely in a time of COVID, and what hotels are better in that regard. I think all the hotels are raising their game, but some maybe better than others. So it's certainly an issue, and I think having a travel advisor on your side is an important thing today more than ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're people who are in the travel industry, and we include ourselves in that, Kevin. We're all in this together. We all want to help each other, and those who are doing it right, we want to elevate. We want to join forces with, because we all have a common cause, and that is to bring jobs back. That is as simple as it gets, and we get to enjoy life while doing it. So there you go. So shall we start Montreal?
One last thing. Sorry, I forgot. Sorry, Samantha. Let me just close this window here. Tomorrow.
I am busy. My gosh.
Tomorrow night at 6:30, the iBank of New York, Samantha is hosting a virtual tour, if you will, of Austria, and it's a free event. It's going to be on Facebook. I think actually we should be able to share it on our Facebook page. So if you look for that at 6:30, but there's obviously it's a fundraiser, so there's a donation, a hopeful donation expected. But we're going to learn about some of Austria's culture, as well as the wine and food. It should be a fun night. We got a great sommelier from Austria. Actually, poor woman's joining us at like midnight, 1 in the morning, her time in Austria, to be a part of this live event. And then we have a chef from New York, an Austrian chef from New York as well. So it's going to be a fun night at Samantha and the iBank. We go to this real event every year, and have done for almost 20 years now. And since they couldn't do it in person this year, they asked Samantha if she might help host their virtual event, and we're really excited that Samantha's able to do that.
Absolutely.
So that's tomorrow night at 6:30. Just check our Facebook page. Hopefully, we'll be able to share it. So I think we're ready to start, Samantha. What do you think?
I think so too. I'm just looking at some questions.
I'm in a city that is one of the most creative in the world. At over 375 years old, it has spent centuries slowly becoming a living, pulsing work of art. The city's originality comes from its overwhelmingly international mix of people, and it's a creativity that stops you in your tracks, can be biked through, and participated in.
I'm in Montreal, Canada.
I'm Samantha Brown, and I've traveled all over this world. And I'm always looking to find the destinations, the experiences, and most importantly, the people who make us feel like we're really a part of a place. That's why I have a love of travel and why these are my places to love. Samantha Brown's Places to Love is made possible by
Europe is a treasure trove of fascinating history, rich culture, and renowned cities.
Oh, I
Ama
can't wait to get on
Waterways
that.
River
Ama
Cruises
Waterways.
offers a way to see all this wonder in person. You can discover more at amawaterways.com.
Away is the smell of fresh pine. It's a place where giants still live. Away is where the farther down the road you go, the closer you get to the ones you love. Find your away. GoRVing.com.
Whenever I arrive in a big city, it's always helpful to get an overview. So I joined local guide Shay Mayer. He's going to take me to a hidden part of Montreal that is best revealed on a bike.
Why do you think Montreal is such a creative city? It has always been a creative city. Is it because of its immigrant influx? Is it because it's just everyone of the world is here?
I think that over time, Montrealers have found their way to kind of appreciate life and celebrate, and the creativity kind of comes out of that. And you'll see it nowadays, like, you know, as you're here, especially in the summer, it's just festival galore. It's like living outside and the street art and the painting and the Cirque du Soleil and all of the performing arts.
Nice. Beautiful day.
So let's turn right here and check out a laneway.
Okay, right here?
Yeah, right here.
Oh. So are the laneways all throughout Montreal?
All throughout Montreal. So they were originally built.
You know, I wish we had a shot of this, but this whole scene that we filmed, the whole scene we filmed here on bikes, our second camera, Chelsea, was actually riding a bicycle backwards with a huge heavy camera on her shoulder, and it was a very impressive feat of camera expertise.
Camera woman work, yes.
Camera woman work, yeah.
Built as service roads, and there would be coal delivered for heating,
Wow.
ice for the ice boxes, and eventually they would do garbage collection and everything in the laneways.
Right.
City initiative that they wanted to beautify the laneways. And so what would happen is there's certain environmental organizations in each neighborhood would provide financing for groups of residents that would band together and decide to beautify their laneway.
So this was a city initiative that the community picked up.
Exactly.
Wow.
So this is one of my favorite laneways. It's called the Ruelle Champêtre. So the bucolic, pastoral, natural laneway. This one's completely closed off to cars. It'll actually be good for us just to get off the bikes and we'll walk right through.
Walk through, okay, sure. Oh, I mean, I feel like this is just a hidden world.
Yeah.
Do most, visitors to Montreal even know these exist?
I don't think so. And we're including them more and more on the tours that we do, whether it's on foot or riding bikes, just because it gives you this insider's glimpse, and it's just like such an authentic way to visit the city. So this laneway has been essentially a green lane.
You know, one of the questions we're always asked when we're filming is when we were there, and we filmed there July 5th through 8th, because I remember we arrived on July 4th. So it was early July, and it was gorgeous, the weather.
Yeah, can I say, and actually in this spot right here, we kind of stopped and we had a conversation, and we're talking, and we've got two cameras, sound, and we're talking loudly, and all of a sudden, when someone came out from the window of the home that we were talking under, and they're like, excuse me, and we look up behind, like, I'm trying to keep my baby asleep. Could you move somewhere else? I'm like, oh, we're so sorry. They're like, no, it's okay. But I just got him to sleep. We're like, yeah. So, and it was right there at that potted plant.
That's funny.
Anyway, for about 15 years.
15 years.
And because it's completely closed off to cars, all of the residents that essentially live directly on the laneway did have to agree, sign off that it would become a pedestrian laneway.
Well, that's a big commitment. It's just these little moments that personalize the city more. And when you get to go down this lane, you get to be a part of Montreal and a way of life that is very unique.
Yep, exactly. So I love riding the laneways and seeing, groups of neighbors coming together for a glass of wine or a meal. People just crossing over. And so today we're going to go visit a friend named Tinka who lives here in the laneway.
You know you're in a French-speaking city when your bike has a place for a bottle of wine, as well as the fact that at any moment you'll need it.
Bonjour. Hello. Hi.
How are you?
Tinka is having the Montreal version of a summer block party. The atmosphere is breezy and fun, and a way for the neighbors to reinforce the sense of community here that all begins with their laneway.
Well, come on in. We have lots of neighbors.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's lots of kids on this
I
laneway.
know,
You guys
this
are
is
lucky.
great. Oh, hello, how are you? So is everyone here live on the laneway?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
When you moved to Montreal and you live here, is this the ideal to live on a laneway and be a part of a type of community like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have kids, you know that you can leave your door open and it's going to be safe and they're going to be able to be friends. And this is, it's a big part of. We also have very big trees that we try to take good care of, which gives this feeling as well of being a little bit in the
country.
forest.
Absolutely.
So, when you take your dinner outside on the courtyard and it's 9 p.m. and you hear the sound of the leaves, you really feel like you're in the middle of the forest.
So you're from the United States.
Yes.
What do you love about Montreal?
I would say the openness of Montreal, the quality of life, the diversity. I'd say that raising children in a bilingual and multicultural environment. And I think that for a lot of people, they've come to Montreal looking for something different, and they found it here.
And it's the perfect middle ground between Europe. There's very vibrant European feel.
So it's interesting if you stop right there. It was just a highlight of my trip there. I love being on a bike, and the idea that there are these sort of hidden lanes, bike trails through people's yards and neighborhoods is just perfect and ideal. And of course, we stage that, like they all know we're coming. Because we can't just bust into someone's party and say, "Hey, do you mind?" Like that was all put on for us to show, but that absolutely happens naturally. And often people absolutely welcome you into their homes. That Fitz and Fowler tour, I believe that's how. If you go to my website, samantha-brown.com, you can see exactly what I did, who I booked with, and this is the Fitz. Oh gosh, I think it's Fitz and Fowler. I should have that. Sorry, but in the winter, if you want to go in the winter, when we can start traveling to Canada again, they do snowshoe tours through the laneways. So rain, sleet, snow, those laneways are open. And remember, Kevin, what we were trying to do is that there's one day in Montreal or maybe it's a week, where everyone can sell food, right? Remember, we were trying to do that. It's really a fascinating day because there's a lot of restrictions, of course, and permits you have to get if you want to cook food and sell it, just like anywhere, and especially in Montreal. But for 1 week, they have this festival or weekend where everyone does, and these laneways are then just jam-packed with great food, people making soups and selling their individual soups. And so that was something that we wanted to try to show.
I don't know if it's once a year, because when I was scouting, that was going on. Maybe it might be like certain weekends in the summer or something like that. I was there about a month beforehand, and I just remember one guy set up a tiki bar, in his laneway, and was serving drinks, selling drinks actually, not serving drinks, selling drinks. And then the more creative one was a guy rigged his Weber grill to be a coffee roaster and was roasting coffee in his backyard with a little thing. And it was just I bought a bag of it. It was great. It was just
that is ingenuity cool. At its best, I will say. And it's kind of what's happening now during the pandemic. We live in Brooklyn, and you just walk the streets, and people on their brownstones, on their stoops, they have meals set up that you can just buy. They're like home chefs, and now restaurants, you have drinks to go. So there's a little bit of that now as people are are loosening up their restrictions so that people survive and also thrive and enjoy. So I'm not sure what that day is. We were like, hey, because when we're planning these shows, we're like, can we recreate that and just show like a few steps? And obviously that's not happening now, but it's such a unique, special piece of this puzzle that maybe we put that in anyway. And so we decided against it. But really, I just wanted to stop the frame so you could see that awesome outfit. That's one of my favorite outfits. Give me some hearts if you love that outfit, because Christina, my stylist, I thought, hit this out of the park with the black skirt and the cute. Give me some hearts. Give me some love. Show me some love with that outfit.
The first time you've ever asked anyone, like, smash that like button, all that kind of lingo that happens these days. It's the first time I've ever heard you say something like that. Give me some hearts.
Should I do that? Give me some hearts, guys.
That's what all the kids
Thank
do.
you. Thank you very much. Give me some hearts.
Yeah.
We need some merch.
We're going to be a cool YouTube channel.
We are so going
We're
to be
20 years too old for that, I think.
And that's what's going to make us cool, Kevin. That's what's going to make us cool. I have records and vinyl, and it's not ironic. Okay, so go ahead.
With people from Portugal, there's a very big Italian community, big Spanish, French. So it really brings this Mediterranean attitude to food.
So how large is Little Italy? How many blocks?
You're looking at maybe 1, 2, 3, 8 blocks.
Okay.
8 blocks by 8 blocks.
Oh, well, that's pretty large.
Yeah, and a big part of it is the market. My name is Stefano Faita, and I'm a third-generation Canadian-Italian.
When did the Italians immigrate to Canada?
In the 1950s was the biggest wave of immigration. I grew up in Montreal's Little Italy in a family business called Dante's. I also own 3 restaurants in the neighborhood. I'm the third generation trying to lead a family business for another 50 years.
Stefan takes me to a market that opened in 1954 and has been run by the same family ever since.
Welcome to Milano.
Oh, you've taken me to a place I love, a market.
One of the oldest, if not the oldest, Italian grocery stores in Montreal. We come here because there's things we find from Italy that we probably don't find anywhere else.
Even to this day in Montreal.
Even to this day. There's other grocery stores that have opened that have a very big Italian influence, but nothing as renowned as Milano's. My mom literally comes here every day to buy her stuff fresh for the cooking school, be it cheese, cold cuts, whatever. They have one of the best cured meats counters. So you see they have even all the pickled vegetables, so the olives, the eggplants, the roasted peppers. You have some Italian specialties. Salut. Hi, ça va? On peut-tu essayer le prosciutto ruliano? I'm gonna make you taste a really good prosciutto.
Please make me taste.
Yeah, prosciutto from Parma. It's fantastic.
That's where it comes from.
Yes,
right?
and it's a prosciutto that we serve at the restaurant too because we think it's the best. It's fantastic. There you go. Merci.
Oh.
Good, huh? It's not salty.
No.
It melts in your mouth.
Perfect.
There's good fat. I mean,
But right, thin.
thin is always good. For prosciutto, thin is the best.
Next up, another institution in Little Italy, Dante's.
This is truly the definition of the corner store.
Yes, it's actually the first Italian hardware store in Montreal. You think hardware, you're thinking paint and nuts and bolts and hammers, but they used to sell that. Back in the day, it was more like a general store. All kinds of things that were
made in Italy.
that were very specific to the Italian community that was immigrating from Italy.
Dante's opened in 1956 by the first generation of Stefan's family, and right now working behind the counter is the second generation, his uncle Rudy, as well as his mom, Elena.
We sold a lot of hammers and everything that had to do with construction.
So the hardware became kitchenware and houseware. But at the same time, one of my eldest uncles that was here first, he was a very big hunting fan. And he knew that the Quebecois were very big hunters, and so were the Italian immigrants. It was a big pastime for them. So he decided, why don't we start selling guns to go hunting? And they started, and it just never went away.
Hi, Rudy, how are you? Good, very good. He's the one to respect in this store, right?
Yeah, kind of. So,
How many too many stores you can get like a pepper mill and a shotgun in the same place?
Exactly.
But it goes
One-stop
together.
shopping.
I think we had a freeze. Oh, I don't hear you, Kev.
Thank you.
Okay.
I made a drink and it was too loud, so I muted myself.
Okay.
Yeah, remember we had all this drama about could we show the shotgun? You know, we had to get someone at PBS to look at it and say it was okay. It was just like,
Understandably. Yeah.
yeah.
Understandably.
If you think about it. No, because the hunters are very good cooks.
Of course, for a chingale.
Exactly.
You need both, right?
That's right.
So who gesticulates more, the French or the Italians? Who uses their hands?
The Italians.
Just, it's about the Italians.
I still think it's the Italians.
Their hands are just a
And
little
yeah.
higher than the French.
There's a lot of mixed marriages, so it's okay. You know,
Okay,
Italian,
Yeah,
French.
yeah. Yes.
What is that?
That
Yes.
is amazing.
Yes, but you know what this is for, eh? Dante is known. We're known for
like
all our canning.
restaurant.
No, our canning season.
on the table?
What we can. So tomato.
Can you stop,
machines,
Kevin?
When we're
okay.
making marinades.
Can you just back it up to where I'm holding the spoon, Kevin? Do you see all that Le Creuset in the back? Just like, I see my white pot. Call them, Kevin. I need. Tell them. They'll understand. They'll be like, what happened? Look at all the.
You can see it. It's just right there.
It's right there. It's right there.
Yeah.
Just I'll take that white one. Thank you. Okay, sorry. A funny
I have to say-
thing about the one thing, I'm sorry, that we did keep, because we're like, the guns. But listen, the guns are it's respected. It's hunting. But one thing we did cut from the scene because we thought, I don't think they're gonna like this, is that spoon. We talked about how they're like, this is how we keep kids in line, and so I laughed because I'm going to call my parents out here, but yeah, like there was a belt involved sometimes. I was spanked. I grew up in 1970. And so getting a spoon was actually a nice compared to a belt. And so we laughed, but we thought, maybe we take it out. Sign of the times. We got to be nicer to the kids, right?
It's like the equivalent of your dad being Hulk Hogan and getting the belt, and it's this wide,
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead, sorry.
That's funny. I have to say, Chef Stefano was awesome. When I met him in the Scout, he was awesome.
Yeah.
He was awesome. We ended up using him almost for like 2 scenes because he was 3 scenes in a way because he
Became his show, yeah.
Because of the market, and he goes to his restaurant, and he's a TV personality in Canada, but I've never met someone that seems like a New Yorker that's not a New Yorker. I mean, he's just larger than life, just loud. I was very comfortable talking to him because it's like every New Yorker I've ever met. But he's from Montreal. It's just it's a very interesting place, Montreal. You're very, very much a melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What is that?
That is amazing.
Yes, but you know what this is for, eh? Dante is known. We're known for all our canning.
restaurant.
No, our canning season.
on the table?
What we can. So tomato machines. When we're
okay.
making marinades, preserves.
So this isn't for restaurants. This is for
no,
No,
homes.
this is for homes.
He said tomato machines. There's something called a tomato machine.
Yeah.
This is for the home. So if I'm Italian, what's the one item in this shop that I have to have?
A pasta machine.
Hand cranked.
That's
Hand-cranked,
my
Imperial.
biggest
That's
seller.
your right.
That's what you need. Yeah.
My customers are 99% Quebecers.
That's great.
So, it's great.
It's changed,
really-
even the area, it used to be a very predominantly Italian area. Now there still are, but a lot of the Italians moved out, either in the suburbs or something like that. So, and now we're seeing a lot
They're
of
coming back.
young Italian families or young families are coming back with young children.
the area.
They're buying a house in the city.
Because they want that,
Yes.
that heritage.
They want
that we
that
talked about.
heritage.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's fun.
Yes. They're back to their roots.
And now Cafe Italia,
Ah,
another family-run business.
well, this is great. Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
How old is this?
1956. So they opened the same year that Dante opened. Everybody comes to Cafe Italia. You come, if you come in Little Italy, if it's your first time in Montreal, you're probably gonna stop here and have a coffee.
Well, you gotta love the authenticity. It's
Yeah,
not run by hipsters.
But no,
It's
it's old school.
It's old school.
Seri family.
Terrazzo floor.
Luciana, 80 years old, almost 80, still here in the morning. So you come here on a Saturday, and it's packed. Like you can't even move almost, right?
Are they
And
speaking Italian or French?
they're speaking Italian and French, both.
What a great neighborhood you live in.
Thank you. It's given a lot back to me. It's genuine, and that's what I like about it. Cheers.
Cheers. Salud.
To Little Italy.
To Little Italy.
To Montreal. Love all.
Montreal is a foodie city, and it would be impossible to pick one restaurant to show that. However, there is one place that stands out among the others for its purpose and may represent the heart of the city better than any other.
I'm Judy Survey, and I founded and I'm running the Robin des Bois restaurant in Montreal. We're a sociably profitable restaurant on Saint Laurent Boulevard in Quebec. So how it works, we're a non-profit restaurant, but we like to say sociably profitable restaurant. I don't think there's any other restaurant like this one in Montreal for sure, and maybe even the world.
So explain to me Robin Dubois.
He's the guy that took from the rich and gave to the poor.
Of course,
so
Robin,
this is...
which took me a little while. I thought you were Robin Dubois.
No,
Like, oh,
no.
Robin owns this.
Yeah, no.
True story.
Robin Dubois means Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. So all the money goes into the same bank account, and at the end of the year, whatever we have in excess, which some years we have, some years we haven't, we give back to 4 charity organizations that work poverty street level.
Incredible.
So there's a whole side of social reinsertion, a lot of young people that want to learn.
Sorry, I'm controlling the stop start tonight, so I have to say when I scouted this might have been the easiest scene to say, yeah, we're doing a scene here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an awesome restaurant. It employs people that need help or need training or just need things, and the public can enjoy it. And like this ticks about every box that we have for anything we do. It didn't disappoint. Just everything about the scene was perfect.
Yeah, I agree. And with Montreal, it's known as an amazing culinary city. So how do you choose? How do you choose what restaurant you do to show that? And I love the fact that we could go in a completely different direction and just show a phenomenal restaurant with a great mission that everyone could get behind, and that I could test out my waitressing skills again.
Yeah, and I met with the top chef. I went to 2 amazing restaurants. One kind of the oldest school, like the highest restaurant in Montreal, and I went to like one of the more modern, newer ones. And they were amazing. And like honestly, I think more than any episode we filmed, I want to go back there to do more shooting and do a second episode of Montreal, just so we can go and feature those places because they were amazing. But just this scene was like we have to feature this. There's so many layers to it
so
that
unique.
it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Learn how to work, how to serve. They come here to train. We have people that are young kids that are out of school that come here on trainings. We have people that need to do community work.
I've got quite a bit of restaurant experience.
That's good for us.
Back at the house, I started out washing dishes.
Oh
I'm
my
a good
God.
cutter, and I've worked on tables for 8 years in New York City. So
Wow,
I've
so
got
you're like the most
got
best
some pros.
volunteer ever.
I don't speak French. Is that
That's all right, because you can just say that,
Point.
you're from out of town.
Point, okay.
Point.
Okay,
You're
just
from out
point,
of town.
okay.
We have a lot of English customers.
Okay,
It's
all right.
Montreal. It's half and half, right? So you want to start by the kitchen?
Yeah,
you
start
want to
in the
go in
kitchen.
there?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
let's check that out. Follow me.
And this is a beautiful restaurant, by the way.
Thank
I love it.
you.
It's just cheerful. It's open. So, are you a volunteer here?
No, so I'm an employee. I started as a volunteer when it's been a few years by now, and then I went to cooking school. Then I came here to apply for a job, and I got hired.
Was it being a
So-
volunteer here that inspired you to go to cooking school?
Yes,
What did you do before?
I was working in retail.
Working in retail,
Yeah,
very
so-
different.
And this is still customer service, but
course.
without the direct contact.
I like
so
it.
we're still it's still the hospitality industry. We're still helping people, feeding people, and making people happy.
So I know that being in the back of a kitchen of a busy restaurant can get very stressful. What is it like dealing with the staff that is half volunteer?
Once we're in service, if we need some green onions cut very fast, usually we can just ask the volunteers, please can you cut some green onions really, really fast, and
Yeah.
they'll do it, no problem.
Yeah, they'll do it.
Otherwise, they tend to do more long-term prep work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Chris, do you need some green onions cut? Because I'm
No, because we've
I'm the man
done
on the
some.
job.
We just finished doing some.
Okay.
So
What can I help you with then? Because I'm here for the day. Mindy, I think carrots. Order up. Is this your first day?
No, it's my second day.
Your second day. And how did you find out about this?
I was just walking around and I saw this. I went in, and it's an amazing place where people are like really nice. They care about you and they want you to feel comfortable. It's an amazing experience. I absolutely love it. And with children, like during the day, it's wonderful.
Great, so I'm off to a good start. I like this. Good, in good hands. Hello, bonjour. How are you today? Here's the menu. There you are. Do you know what you'd like to drink, or would you like me to come back?
I know what I want.
You have a lovely wine list.
So I have to stop here. This was an extra we employed that there happened to be a big travel conference in town around the same time we were filming called Destinations International. And so I had a lot of friends who happened to be in Montreal, and they were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we're going to this restaurant. Come and hang out and check out what we're doing." And my friend Michael Jacobson, our friend Michael Jacobson, joined us and ended up being an extra. And Michael's now the president, I think, CEO of the Chicago Hotel Association. And
he was in Brand USA. Yeah, exactly. And I'd also like to say that U.S. travels, right? And I'd also like to say that David Dean, who's on here, my beloved editor, phenomenal editor, and I have a running joke that for some reason, every time I mentioned that, I was a waitress in New York City like 10 times in one season. I seem to always mention it. And so he would start to and you mentioned that you were a waitress. It was just like this inside joke we had because we would have to cut a lot of them because I bring it up all the time. But yeah, I waited on tables in New York City for easily 8 years. And so I've got some chops. So we were like, well, now we can mention it. But I know David Dean, I can't find any of the comments, but I'm sure he's making fun of me right now because he'll be like, Samantha, and in this one, you bring up again that you were a waitress in New York City. and then I'll get another show, 2 episodes will show Samantha, you brought up again that you were a waitress in New York City. I'm like, I'm sorry. I guess it was an important time in my life.
Welcome to my
Anyway,
world,
go ahead.
Nice rosé for a hot summer day.
I will take a glass of the Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir. And you, sir?
And I'll go with the Pilsner one.
Pilsner, okay. Merci. What's just the menu?
Thank you.
Table 20.
Merci. Table 20. That's me.
Table 20.
The Asian salad with duck. And the Caesar salad with smoked salmon. May I get you anything else?
Beautiful.
All right. Enjoy. Bon appetit.
Thank you.
Since I was so good at jumping in as a waitress,
J'enlève le vin.
I thought I would get involved in other ways as well. This time with mixed results.
I told everyone freeze. I pressed the wrong button.
Don't worry, this has a happy ending because I know the man in charge.
My name is Anthony Venice, and I like to surprise people in their quotidien, in their daily life.
So right now, I've come to Montreal at a really perfect time. This is the Montreal Circus Festival,
Le Montréal complètement cirque.
which means the entire city turns into a complete circus.
Absolutely.
Anthony is a conceptor and director of all things circus here in Montreal.
It's the circus.
I'm
talking to Elizabeth. No, I'm sorry.
To bring circus in the street and reach the people and share my passion that I have with the circus.
You were actually born in France.
Yeah.
And you moved here to Montreal.
Yeah, like almost 20 years ago. Actually, I moved here to study at the National Circus School.
You did?
Yeah, I did. So I was an acrobat. I was aerialist. I was doing swinging trapeze.
When you go to circus school, what's your favorite class?
I'm going to tell you, my favorite class was clown. But not just because about clown, but what I like about clown is the creativity.
Obviously, you need to be a very creative person to do this. What was it about circus arts that made you want to direct your creativity towards that form of art?
It's a good question. I think I really like the body language. And I'm always very touched when I see an artist working and giving his passion, you know. I think it's very emotional to see someone doing something very risky, You know, because circus it's
Let's
all
do-
about risk, but it's control risk.
What are we about to do
Here we
right
are,
now
so
with
here's
you?
the thing.
So me, I'm actually taking care of the outside events,
You got to see that.
and we'll hold these people
Remember
behind
when
me. We're
so
gonna
this.
run in the street
Here.
and get in contact with the audience.
You want to interact with the audience.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, and so instead of being a performance that we all sit and watch, the audience becomes a
Absolutely.
part of that. Whoa!
And this year, we wanted to go even further. We have decided to develop an app. And this technology allows the people, the member of the audience, when they download the app, to be part of the show with us, to play with us.
The audience isn't the only one in charge. Using a wireless mic and a smart device, Anthony becomes a ringmaster of the future.
So what are you telling them to do now?
So now I ask them to do 3 high acrobatics.
3 high?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. And again, they're on the street. There's no mat. Whoa!
Clap, clap, hey.
Get clap in the front. Yay!
And check your phone.
Check my phone, okay. So they're telling everyone to get down and to check their phone.
Because everyone who has downloaded the app has the opportunity to control the performers at any given moment. Someone just told them to do that. Looks like it's my turn to be the ringleader. So I can say freestyle dance, or tell them to go super slow. There's also a button we could all use on our phones.
Oh, I know what I want.
I have to say,
We'll do that again.
we used that so many times on the kind of highlight. Am I muted? Can you hear me?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we used this clip so many times in the highlight reel for this whole season because it was just such a perfect little snippet of kind of fun times.
Of love that we'll be able to do again, no doubt. People are like, "Oh, we'll never kiss again." I'm like, "No, I don't agree. No,
n'est-ce pas?"
Oh my gosh.
So when you come to Montreal, you must see a circus show.
Okay, drinks for everybody.
And if you still think circus is animal acts, painted clowns, and sawdust, allow me to introduce you to the Seven Fingers, a new type of circus that's not quite held under a big top. This particular show has a limited run, but it's safe to say in Montreal...
There was so many things we could have done.
Oh my God.
There was like multiple things happening every night in Montreal. It was
From
there was
day
so
to
much
night,
there.
there's just no time when this city isn't creative. And night helps illuminate one of the most ambitious public works projects in the world, Cité Mémoire, which transforms not only the old city of Montreal, but your own ideas of what art available to all can accomplish.
And this is called the Grand Tableau.
The Grand Tableau.
And this is one of your tableaus, your scenes, that tells the entire history
Of Montreal.
of Montreal.
For centuries. We have to talk about the art and the soul of the city and the human journey, more than political journey. And so it's an opportunity to talk about who we are to the rest of the world.
Because usually when you hear about the history of a city, it's in the city museum. And we go inside and we see pictures. And you have used, with the creators, have used the city itself, its physical presence, to tell the history.
Abandoned walls. And we don't transform the walls as a screen because we want to see the stone, we want to see the brick.
So when you were given this job, this task, what was the job description?
It was, tell the story of Montreal, make a poem, and share your love, to your fellow citizens. And it was, for me, a kind of a gift. It's about, the connection between times and now.
I mean, this is an epically huge art installment. The technological challenges of this were great. So not only the telling of the history.
So
Yeah, where do we begin with this one, Kevin? My gosh.
So, I think just technically this was a hard thing to film. It's very dark, and with the cameras trying to be able to show what was on the screen or in the buildings and still have Samantha and the guy in view it was challenging to do that properly. And I think we got it enough for to tell the story. But I have to say that when I scouted this, a month earlier, and they told me to download the app on my phone, and I had been running around all day, and it was the last night. And I realized that I didn't do this on my own, because there's a whole tour you can do downtown Montreal in the old section that you walk up to these buildings and you either hit something on your phone or you step in the thing, and we'll mention that. But it was quite late. It was like 11 or midnight. And I think some of the installations actually were off because it was so late. It was dark. But they had a whole other thing that we couldn't even show, that with augmented reality, you could literally hold your phone up to like the original bank, the Bank of Montreal building, and then all of these, you're using your camera, so your camera is showing you this building, but then all of a sudden all these characters would start entering into the screen, and you're having this moment, and it's magic. I think Montreal to me is the most magical city, because just everywhere you turn, there's just surprising things that and I'm having this experience like blowing my mind, and it's 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night, and no one's around, and I'm just watching this screen like it's this live thing, and this whole Cité Mémoire thing was absolutely amazing, and it's a reason to go to Montreal alone, to be honest. Just this.
I totally agree, and it's what separates Montreal from so many cities, in that this effort was funded by taxpayers. The government itself said this is such an important story to tell, and they basically gave the artist the money, and they said do what you want, and really entrusted the artist telling the story of Montreal. And when people describe it to you, it is hard to believe. And when we are as a TV production crew, when we have this epically amazing experience in front of us, where do we begin to tell the story? And we were so grateful that we had literally one of the three creators, or three main creators, and it's all because they inherited all of the projectors from the Sochi Olympics, right, Kevin?
Right.
It's like it all began in Russia, and it was like, well, I don't know why they bought them but they're like, what do we do with them? We can do something with the
most expensive projectors in the world, and they had 1 billion of them for the Olympics, and they were useless after that, so they got them for cheap. Yeah.
So they got them from cheap, and so it's just the city of Montreal. And just to go back to that circus, the circus goes on year round. So whenever you're in Montreal, I think it was called the 7 Digits. That's what we saw. Look to see what's going on. The circus just doesn't appear once a year or under a big top. It's a phenomenally creative city, and this is the best, most incredible public works of art that I have ever seen in my life, and it is hands down above anything that we have ever seen, and so we try to tell the story here, and so we should go on, because it's just incredible.
Your job, but just mounting it and believing that we could do this.
It was, I think it was just for the actors. It was 2 months of shooting.
How many
We're talking
actors?
200.
200.
It's 23 scenes in 4th century, different period. Tons of costume. For the shooting of every scene.
Cité Mémoire projects its stories and milestones of Montreal on over 20 buildings. Some stories make you stand motionless. Others are to be walked through and absorbed. This cobblestone alleyway tells the story of the Grey Nuns, who accepted abandoned children and cared for unwed mothers.
What is it like creating something that no one has ever seen before?
During the process, we don't think about it. We are like that. After that,
But now you've been able to step back.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of it. And the reaction came from so many people. So it's not just for the artist community.
Of course,
it's for everyone.
Montreal is a very open-minded community, and there is a lot of festival going on. It's very diversified.
Basically, it's a recipe. My nonna's minestrone, right? So you get a few Italians, you get a few Greeks, 2-3 Portuguese, a pinch of Chinese, some French stock, because Québécois were French stock. Simmer all that together and you probably get the best recipe you ever had.
And I think that when you feel that you're sharing something in a community, it makes you stronger. It makes every individual stronger, and it makes the community stronger. And I think that's what Montreal is about, definitely.
Soupe de Montréal.
When old buildings shed new light on how we learn from the past. When urban back roads give us a glimpse of a more personal side. When you fall in love with a city and it hugs you back. That is when we share a love of travel. And that's why Montreal, Canada is a place to love. For more information...
David,
sorry.
maybe you can answer. Oh, you're there?
You're back. Yep, sorry, I had you muted.
I mean, is there any doubt why Montreal is a magical city, and for Americans, so easy to get to, and I would never pit cities against each other, but listen, if you can't make it to Paris because of cost, or, I mean, Montreal is magical, it's romantic, it's Europe, and as soon as we can travel again and cross that border, this is one of the places you should go. What's amazing about Cité Mémoire is it's totally free. I mean, you download an app and everyone has access to it. I think there are 17 different, I think they call them tableaus. The one that I was talking in front of with the artist, that is the main tableau that tells you the overall history, 350-year history of Montreal. But then there are smaller histories, like you saw Jackie Robinson. So Jackie Robinson, the great baseball player, was not allowed to play here. He moved to Montreal to play. They accepted him with open arms. There was also the great story, and I think they show it in the tableau, and we were going to do a segment on it. In Montreal, again, unique. There's one day out of the year where everyone moves, right, Kevin? There's a moving day, and everyone moves on the same day. And so I guess all the apartments are rented, and there's one major day that everyone moves. I forget what it's called. Does anyone know what it is?
That used to be a New York thing, to be honest. I don't remember that.
No. It's definitely Montreal, and they show it. And oh gosh. Anyway, if anyone knows what that day is called. But I think like almost all of Montreal, like their leases end and they all move, and getting a mover that day is nearly impossible. And you enlist your friends and to go up staircases, and I forget what it's called. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but such a wonderful place. And let me tell you, getting the rights to shoot Cité Mémoire was not easy. You have the artists who are there just fully at your all they want to do is promote this amazing work they did, and then you have their lawyers and all we want to do is show a great story, and so you should know that these things, even though they're public works of art, they're of course artists use, there's limitations of usage, we can only show 8 seconds of a frame before we have to cut. I think, just kind of a lot of like making of the sausage. They wanted rights to be able to just go in and take this out of our show if they didn't think it was right. And it's just all these things that lawyers are meant to do. We get it. But what frustrates me on the artistic end is that, listen, anyone with a cell phone can film this and put it up on YouTube, and we're a professional film crew just trying to give you guys some really amazing credit and shoot it beautifully and cinematography and using cinematography skills, and so if these things can just exist on the internet, well, why can't we just show you and really promote what a beautiful experience it is. So just so you know, those scenes are hard to come by. Even though it's a public works of art, there are so many hoops that we have to. You can show up with a camera and shoot the entire thing and post it on YouTube. We do not have those rights at all, and so. It was down to the wire. Remember that, Kevin? We were not going to be able to.
I spent a month
this.
on that.
And
I mean, but it was it just you kept thinking it would be like, okay, and then they give us some other solution, which was never acceptable. Yeah, like no, like we're not giving you the rights to pull our content at some point.
Yeah, and it's never the artists. The artists are like, what do you need? It's the lawyers, and you're just like, listen, I get it. You're trying to protect, and that's what it's all about. You're trying to protect the integrity of the work so people don't steal it and use it. But it's just like this is who we are. We're a public television show, and this is what we want to do. And that's why I think I know. Okay. And so anyway, but C'était Memoire, holy mackerel. I mean, I think our show did a phenomenal job of giving you a taste. Just go. And what a perfect thing to do during this time of the pandemic. I mean, clearly Americans, we can't travel to Canada right now, but obviously that's just one of the things that are just like, pandemic proof in that sense, where you can be outside and enjoy it and still get a sense of history. And
and I've driven there twice now to Montreal from New York City. It was 6 hours. Once I kind of broke it up overnight, and once drove straight through.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's 6 hours.
Because we drove home from.
North.
Yeah. And remember the funny story? There's a funny story with us crossing the border at Canada. We were coming home, and our daughter Elizabeth was going. They were 3 years old. We took the twins, and our daughter was going through a Moana stage, and you couldn't call her Elizabeth anymore. She was Moana. Yeah. And I'll never forget the immigration, the border agent, in his like total military regalia, comes over and he has our passports, and and we have to roll down the window of my daughter in her car seat, and he's like, "What is your name?" She's 3 years old, and she goes, "Moana," and he looks at the passport, and he's like. And I'm like, and I think this is hysterical. I'm like, it's Elizabeth, and she's like, and the agent says she doesn't know her name. I'm like, she's 3 years old. Give her like give her a break. Like she's 3 years old. Remember that, Elizabeth, when you went through your Moana phase?
In pre-K for a year, like first thing they did when they got in pre-K was write their name down on this big piece of paper, and she would write Moana every time. Like, and all of her friends in pre-K thought her name was Moana. Remember that?
No. Well, then there was the time where I asked Elizabeth how pre-K was going, and she's like, I don't like school. I'm like, she's 3 years old. What do you mean you don't like school? And she said, none of the kids call me names. I'm like, the kids call you names? I'm like, what do they call you? And she said, Elizabeth. I'm like, that's your name. She's like, no, it's not. It's Moana. No, it's not. I remember it, Elizabeth, because you said the kids call you names, and I was like, oh my gosh, do we have a bullying session? Yeah, even Ellis is like, yeah, you started naming yourself Moana. So anyway, we had an incident at the Canadian border with Moana, Queen of Tafiti. Anyway, great musical, by the way. Love the Disney movie. Lin-Manuel.
Comments. We scouted so many great things in Montreal, and certainly in Mile End is the Jewish kind of neighborhood, and there's. I scouted, I think, 3 different things, and we just had so many things. It just didn't work out for our show. Again, I want to go back and do a whole show just on the food in Montreal, because it is. I mean, we could almost do every place.
Yeah, especially the Jewish, because we wanted to do the bagel, the Montreal bagel versus the New York bagel. And I'm going to tell you right here, and I'm unapologetic, the Montreal bagel is better.
They're wood-fired?
I'm in trouble now.
They're wood-fired, and they're come out
thin.
hot?
They're thinner, they're smaller. Like now the bagel is this like puffed thing. It's not a bagel anymore.
A warm bagel right out of a wood-fired oven in New York. I mean, New York bagels are great. I'm not complaining, but it's amazing. I would say that, it's funny. I think I'm right with this.
Oh my gosh, it's 10:20.
In our episode, that I think the Cité Mémoire was the only section we did in the Vieux Montreal, the old part of Montreal, which is the real touristy kind of scenic part, and it is awesome down there, no question. But everything else was further up. I mean, near Mile End, and there's just where the tourists don't go as much. So I would say if anyone goes to Montreal, definitely get out of the old part of Montreal because it is very scenic and beautiful and touristy. But as you leave that part of Montreal and go to the real neighborhoods, like where we went to the greenways and where up Saint Laurent, where Robin du Bois was, and just these are where the real neighborhoods in Montreal, and they are amazing. And Mile End is probably like the epicenter of all of that. There's just so many great restaurants there.
And that's where you get that real feel. I mean, old Montreal, the old cité is beautiful, and oh my gosh. But in those little neighborhoods that we were in doing the bike lanes, that's where you get the sense of of Europe, of the cafes and the lifestyle, and it's really lovely. But oh gosh, it's a great city. Great city.
Yeah, and Stephanie Schwartz's deli was the deli I mentioned, by the way. It's
Okay,
like you were in New York City.
Yeah.
Like you were in. It's like Katz's Deli. You were in New York City, in Montreal. It's really cool.
Yeah, James Blount. Oh, they're gonna kick you out of New York for saying that about the bagels. They are. I'm in trouble.
Michael asked about Montreal. We did a show in Quebec City earlier this year, and we were very close to doing a second episode when we were up there, as far as just doing 2 full episodes, one in just Quebec City and one out in that kind of Montreal, that part of Quebec. But it didn't work out. I mean, there's so much there in the winter, especially with the skiing, and there's I forget the name of the resort. It blows your mind, and I've never been there, but just seeing photographs I saw a film that was a movie that was filmed there, and it's like you're at the top of a hill, a ski hill that goes all the way down to the St. Lawrence River, and there's like icebergs floating by, and it's just like, again, this is within a day's drive of New York City, and it's just like a different
Kevin,
world.
we have a great question here. We have a great question from Debbie Perry, who's a top fan. And David Dean asks, how do I become a top fan? And I don't know. I don't know how you become a top fan. Practice. Okay, thanks. David, did you hear that? Debbie Perry asks, how much time would you recommend in Montreal? Debbie, far from just a weekend, I would go for at least 5 days, right? 5 days just to understand, just to get in like the great museums and the culture and the old Montreal, but also experience the neighborhoods and the just everyday life there that's so special. And of course, Cité Mémoire takes at least 2 nights. You will not be able to do that in one night. People try, you can't. It's at least 2 to 3 nights. So I would say 4 full days for Montreal, and certainly depending on where you're coming from. I think as New Yorkers, we can hit it for a weekend, knowing we could come back and make it easy. And but if you're coming further, then yeah.
And I think
Francis Chin, hi Francis.
To reinforce that means you have 4 dinners, and that's not a lot in Montreal. Like, it's a great eating city. So many great things.
Oh my gosh! So Francis, our friend Francis, is saying you could do a whole episode on Jean Talon Market. Am I missing something? What is that, Kevin? Oh my gosh!
You went
what
there
is that?
with Jean Talon.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
The market.
Yes. Yeah, the open market, right? We were there and we got there late. Our shooting took a long time with all those markets because we did everything with the Italian market and the hardware store all in one day. And by the time we got to Jean Talon, things were closing up. So I think we have a scene of me walking through it, but literally we had like one brief shot of a lot of vegetables because that's all we got. So that's right, Jean Talon. Yes, you're right. Francis, good to hear from you. Nice to see you. Yeah, we have a lot of reasons to return to Montreal. Someone said that we should do an entire season just in Canada because it's easy for, when it becomes easy to, when the border opens, to head back there and just experience a great country, great people.
David asked a great question. And I tell you, I went to Montreal the first time in 2002, and I had been to France a little bit before then, but not a lot, and so it wasn't even close to conversational in French, and was concerned that because it's such a stereotype of like, oh, if you don't speak French, they're gonna hate you and be mean and rude and spit in your.
No way.
And that didn't happen at all in 2002, but there was definitely a few times where like not speaking French was a minor issue. It wasn't a major issue. It was just an issue. But I would say the last couple times I was there, I don't think it happened once where it was like I ended up not being able to speak English to someone. I don't. Did that happen to you at all, Sam?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
A great Abel Ramos. Abel Ramos. I liked her. So how do you get to be a top fan? He said I liked her post for about 2 weeks, and then it offered me the badge. So David Dean, you haven't liked anything I've said?
Wow.
Just saying. Yeah. Well, yeah. There we go.
Wow.
Sounds like it's pretty easy to become a top fan, and we just didn't go there.
But yeah, again, I can't say enough that just the foods, and I tell you, my own personal trajectory. I was really into food for a while, and I think not as much, anymore. But Montreal is a really special place. The restaurants are varied. You have culturally different restaurants, but then you have the really kind of high end stuff that's French type high end things, and even then the upper crust of that is not anywhere near as expensive as it would be in New York City or in Paris. So you can eat really well at a very high technical level with really well trained chefs, and it's not anywhere near as expensive as it would be in New York. So I think that alone is a good reason to go, and then all the other cultural things is great. It's again, I want to do a show. Just I had a whole other thing I wanted to feature on that episode. We just ran out of time. It was so good.
Well, yeah, all of Canada, and when we release season 4, which should be in April, wait till you see Quebec City. Oh my gosh! And we did a winter episode, which we've never done, and oh my gosh! And we were all set to go to Winter Carnival this year with our kids because we're bringing our kids this time, and so obviously we need to push that back another year. But someone said at the very beginning, why don't I ever have a purse? It's a great question.
That's all I do.
Forget what room. Did you see that? And I'm gonna maybe she's still on.
Oh, I got it.
Lewis. Oh no, you got it, Lewis. Lewis Childs. Yes. You never carry a purse. You're right. I don't. And there's a few reasons for that. One, it starts to make the wardrobe look terrible because it's always pulling, and then you have these terrible wrinkles. Also, the purse always interferes with the mic. So my mic is always either right here where this necklace is, so I could never wear this necklace. Maybe it's down deeper, but a purse strap is always creates rustling. And sound men and women hate the rustling. And then then there's the okay, did she wear the purse on this side for a cut shot? Oh, now the purse is here. It's a pain in the neck. So that's why I don't carry a purse. So I clearly have a purse, but someone else is carrying it and it's off camera. So that's why I don't carry a purse. Kevin, I got to put the kids to bed. It's 10:30.
Yeah.
They're still up. Actually,
Wow.
They're both kind of sleeping. Yeah, I know. Bad mom, take 2. But next week we have a really great episode. The
Actually,
RV
sorry.
episode. Oh.
Nope.
Nope. No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Next Wednesday is the vice presidential debate.
Okay. Well,
And
we've got.
I know we're awesome, but we're not that awesome.
We're
To
not
try to
that
compete with
awesome. I think we were better than last night's debate. What do you think? Guys, what do you think? Give me some hearts. Show me some love. Show me some love.
Buy some merch. Punch that like button.
Was our Facebook Live better than the presidential debate yesterday? Wow. That's all I'm going to say.
This is the vice presidential debate, not the presidential debate. So
I get that. But we've all been burned.
Yeah. So I think we need to figure out what we're doing. Maybe we do it on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday. Or maybe we just wait another week. But anyway, stand by on that one. But yeah, so we are not sure what's happening next week. we will let you know. Otherwise, it might be the following Wednesday where we feature, I think, or actually, could we go to Big Sur and then end with Oregon, our family episode?
I think we should go back to Big Sur and
Yeah.
clearly, still some a lot of, oh boy, but I think it's important to show them some love right now. So I think when we come back, if it's next Wednesday, if it's next Tuesday, or maybe a following Wednesday, we come back with Big Sur, Monterey Bay, and then we end with the RV, because it's just a great episode to end with as well.
Okay, but stand by.
And then I'm going to start my new. And then after that, Kevin, our Facebook Live is going to be my new cooking show, right? I make toast. Seriously, that's what I do. There's the toaster. Here's my bread. That's what I do. That's what I have. That's what the kids had for dinner tonight. Second dinner.
Well, you know what I had for dinner? Little French bread pizza I got at the local gas station.
We'll be filming those. They'll be featured in the Dutchess County episode. Okay, guys, thank you so much. We're up late, 10:30. Thank you for sticking with us. Oh my gosh, so many people. Thank you. Have a good night, and we'll do it next week. Good night, Kevin.